Hello, welcome to New Community Connecting You to Resources. My name is Rodney Brutton. I'm the Director of Workforce Development for New Community Workforce Development Center and your host for today's program. Today we're joined by Mr. Rich Liebler, the Chief Administrative Officer with Sansone Auto Group and a longtime supporter, funder, and partner with New Community's automotive training program. Welcome and thank you. Rich, thank you for joining us.
It's nice to be here.
Great. So Rich, why don't you tell us and the audience a little about your experience, the background of New Community's automotive program, and our partnership with employers over the years.
Okay. Well, it goes back a long time now. Back in the early 90s, I represented all of the Ford Motor Company dealers in the country. And while we're out there, we're talking about the lack of technicians. And at that time, and I think it's still pretty much the same, we were short 60,000 technicians. Unfortunately, I had a personal situation with my 17-year-old son got killed in a car accident, so I wanted to do something, in his memory. And it seemed like a logical choice. I was a local car dealer, about 1,000 feet outside of Newark. I'm looking at the fact that we're shortage of technicians. So I ended up by partnering with Monsignor Linder at New Community, and we co-founded the Youth Automotive Training Center, a little over 20 years ago. And so far, we've probably graduated over 700, students into our industry.
Great. In terms of the program and its components and sort of initial employer partners, tell us a little bit about how you were able to get Ford Motor Company, a large employer, to support and sponsor the automotive training program that we have in Newark.
Well, one of the other coincidences is that I happen to be friendly with Edsel Ford, the great-grandson of Henry Ford, and we had a conversation about the needs, and Ford sells a lot of cars into the urban communities, and maybe we should deep dive in there and see what we can do to help out some at-risk individuals. And he put up over a 10-year period of time over $1 million into the program, and we went from there.
Yep, and as Rich referenced, the program is located at 210 West Bigelow Street, the automotive training program, and it's a fully operating automotive training center that has 14 automotive bays. And Rich, talk a little bit about that investment. How important was it to have Ford's investment into capital, equipment, materials, supplies, curriculum? What's the importance of having that connection with Ford as we sort of developed the program 20 years ago?
Well, Ford was key to the program because in order for a program to be successful, it has to stay current with local, logistics and technology. When I visited some of the high school programs, they were working on carburetors that hadn't been on a car in a long time, so it kind of dawned on me that we needed to be state-of-the-art. And Ford Motor Company needs starter technicians to come up, into the industry. So Ford constantly training our instructors, is very beneficial. We compared our program with profit programs, and one of the things we found is that a lot of these other programs, the students were working in the classroom 80% of the time.
Correct.
So we did a best practices, we reversed it, and our students work on cars 80% of the time.
Correct.
And that makes them a lot more valuable.
Absolutely. It's really the combination of hands-on experience, classroom experience, but the most important part about it is just being able to complete tasks. So, and you had also referenced in your role as the Chief Administrative Officer with Sansone Auto Group currently. Tell us a little about your role as an employer in hiring graduates from our program and doing the best you can to lessen that gap of needed technicians throughout the industry.
One of the interesting things we found, what most people don't realize, is that we're not just sales and service. We're a regular corporation that has logistics, accounting, and one of the things we found that when we put these individuals, they may not want to stay as a technician. Correct. And we have a lot of individuals that have graduated into being service writers, they work in parts departments, they work in the accounting office. So we found that the industry needs employees, not just technicians, but the fact that they've gone through this program makes them ready to adapt to whatever they want to do when they get a little older and make their final career decisions.
Sure. And even at Sansone, in your current role as the Chief Administrative Officer, you've been able to hire technicians as well as you pointed out, some of the related positions and areas within the automotive field. But just tell us a little bit about Sansone, the number of dealerships, the opportunities that are available for students and graduates at Sansone.
One of the nice things about working at Sansone is that we have 6 different franchises, and we actually have 6 different dealerships set up on one piece of property, and we have 400 employees. We probably sell over 12,000 cars a year, and repair a few hundred a day. So we really need the help. And the nice thing about working with New Community and helping these fellows get a start, and young ladies get a start, is that we're not training for what they refer to as the backbreaking jobs. They're not going to work at Mickey D's. They don't want to work in warehouses. So the advantage we have is that we have careers.
Correct.
And a lot of our careers can work their way up to 6-figure type of incomes.
Wow.
So that's a huge difference when you're working with a young person that doesn't know exactly where they want to go, knowing that they're not going to be stuck at minimum wage, that if they choose to follow a career path, that's what we have in our industry.
Well, that's good to know. And again, the added sort of point to Richard's comment is there's growth, right? We're talking careers, we're talking opportunities beyond just an entry-level position, and you can work your way up to a 6-figure salary. So with that being being the case, walk us a little bit about what it is that you're looking for as an employer, right? Is it the punctuality, the presentation, the skills? What is it that you're looking for as an employer as you look to hire a student from our program?
What's interesting for me is that I get to see the new students from day one. And I go there, I try to get there once a week, and what I try to do is teach employment skills. And what we do is we don't just say to work on time. We try to show them the ramifications of what happens in a customer's mind when the technician shows up a half hour late and they're in a hurry. So I think one of the things that differentiates us from other schools is that we literally are teaching the individuals how to be an employer, how to be an employee. And I think that's what a lot of these individuals, they need to know. They need to know their expectations.
And what are some of the expectations of an employer?
It really is pretty basic. That being to work on time, is important. Being reliable, not calling in with a lot of excuses on a Monday morning that you can't come to work and you had this one day 24-hour flu that you're fine the next day. We teach them that we know this.
Sure.
So not good for your career choice. If this is what you're going to do. I think one of the biggest changes that we've made to improve the program is the internships.
Correct.
There's some perceptions out there with some of our individuals that they may not be perceived as being the best employee prospects, but now that we bring them to a dealership and we tell the employer, let this person work in an unpaid internship for 30 days and judge them. And the problem we have right now is that they want to hire them before they even complete the program, because if they get to know everybody as an individual as opposed to maybe a preconceived statistic.
Correct. And that's an excellent segue when you talk about the employer looking to hire students even prior to the internship coming to an end, the actual need for technicians, right? So there's a growth aspect of it. Tell us a little bit about, you look at our program, areas of expansion, other populations we might want to recruit from that has transferable skills that could be good prospects for our program, but more importantly for our employer. What other demographics and areas of students we should recruit?
Well, veterans for one. Just happen to be wearing my Marine Corps logo on here so you can see where I come from. But I think a lot of the young veterans that are coming out of the service, it's very important for us to find them employment. So they're going to be a natural resource for New Community. We're expanding to diesel technology,
correct,
which I've been nagging you for
sure,
a few years. And a lot of the individuals coming out of the military have diesel technology already. They just got it geared around the cars.
Sure.
So we're looking forward to expanding with diesel, and we're looking forward to expanding with veterans. We're looking forward to telling individuals that there's many different types of jobs within our industry once you have that basic technological knowledge.
Great. And what's some of the work that Sansone is doing with veterans to sort of close that gap? Number one, letting veterans know that a program exists, and to your sort of real point, in giving them the skills that are transferable for employers. So what initiatives do you currently have with Sansone and veterans?
Well, Mr. Sansone created the Sansone Military Training Center. He's very dedicated to working with veterans, and we also partnered with a company called, a nonprofit called Bridging the Gap. So individuals coming out of the military, this company, what they do is they train them how to interview, they train them how to go on LinkedIn, how to try to tell employers that the skills that they have that they learned in the military. And what we're going to do is try to refer them to New Community as a resource for really learning automotive training.
Great. And when you look at our program in terms of how it's grown over the last 20 years, from a maintenance light repair entry-level technician training program to have a strong partnership with employers like Sansone and yourself and Ford, and then to say a natural growth for our work would be working with veterans, and as you pointed out, expanding our program for diesel technicians and training students for that career path, which for us is a very good opportunity considering where we're located and the port and number of diesel jobs, mechanic jobs that are available. One last point as we wrap up, what's the one message, Rich, you would say that speaks to New Community's long-standing program for 20 years that allows us to operate another 20 years beyond?
Well, going out and telling individuals that if you want a career and not a back-breaking job, you have lots of opportunities in the automobile industry. We're one of the largest industries in the country. We have 500 dealers in New Jersey and probably another 2,000 independent repair places. So it's just unlimited opportunities for people, in our industry.
Great. So if anyone is interested in learning more about our program, we welcome you to contact New Community Workforce Development Center at 973-824-6484. And we also encourage you to apply by going online, www.newcommunity.org, and complete an intake form. We're recruiting candidates for a class starting in June of this year, and we welcome you to sign up and join our program because we're looking for quality students, quality applicants. Again, because of the connection with employers, you hear firsthand, getting through our program, having the job readiness skills, the hard skills, the training skills, there will be an opportunity on the back end. And that's only made possible due to the strong partnerships with Ford, with Sansone, and our other employer partners. So we welcome you to apply, go online, learn more about New Community Workforce Development Center, our automotive training program, by calling the number and visiting us on the website. Thank you, and look forward to all of the wonderful applicants that will apply for our program. Welcome back. We're joined by Ms. Esperanza Maldonado, a graduate of New Community's Automotive Training Program and current employee with Sansone Auto Mall. And Esperanza is here to share her story as a real-life testament to the good work we do and the strong employer partnerships that we have with local employers. So, Ms. Esperanza, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Great. Thank you for joining us. So why don't you tell us a little bit, how did you hear about New Community's Automotive Training Program and some of the work we've done to help you get to where you are now?
Actually, I was in transition, and I ended up walking into the Bergen Street office, and I spoke with a counselor there, and she was very, very good, and she explained to me how I could possibly make $250,000 a year through the automotive program, and that's all I heard was $250,000.
Yeah.
So therefore, I started, and I never wanted to look back.
Wow.
I love it.
And when did you go through the program? At what time? What period of that? When was that?
I went through the program about 10 years ago, and I was in the morning class. And I have to say, it changed my life. So in terms of the automotive field, what was your initial interest in the automotive field as what is known as a non-traditional area of employment for young ladies? What was your interest in the automotive field? Well, being honest with you, I like cars. I like cars a lot. I didn't see myself fixing them, but I figured that eventually that I would get into it. And that's what made me walk into the automotive class. Once I got there, I met a gentleman named Richard Liebler who was very good. He saw in the beginning that I wouldn't be a technician, that I would probably be better off in the sales, and it actually worked out for me very well. Gotcha.
And in terms of just the automotive industry as a whole, you know, having a career interest in going into other aspects in sales, how helpful was it for you to have the background knowledge of just what a technician would do?
Very helpful. Very helpful. As a matter of fact, selling cars, just knowing some of the problems that a vehicle could possibly have when a person walks in and says, hey, my car is doing this, and just being able to give them some type of insight actually helps a lot. I think that makes me a little bit better than most females that are in the industry. It gives me a little bit of a leg up because I actually know what's going on with the vehicle.
Wow. So tell us a little bit about your role now. So you are an employee with Sansone Auto Mall.
Yes.
And what's your role? What do you do with Sansone?
I sell cars. I sell cars. And if anybody is looking for a car, I will be there today until 9 p.m. But that's what I do. I sell cars.
And then that career path, and in terms of, again, having the opportunity to sell cars and a salesperson and the connection with the automotive program. How beneficial as selling cars and working in the automotive field has been for you sort of personally?
Very beneficial. As a matter of fact, the job that I had previous to being in the automotive industry, I was making $9 an hour, and they were giving me 4 hours a day. And now I make $100 grand a year. So I must say that it's been very beneficial mentally, spiritually, financially, emotionally. I think the industry covered every aspect of my life.
Wow. Which is an excellent sort of point. When you look at the transition from the job you had prior to your current role, what's your life story? How did you get, you know, from an entry level minimum wage job to now making making $100,000 a year?
Well, Rich Liebler came in. He was teaching life skills classes, and he asked me what I was doing. I was actually selling timeshare, which is very hard to sell timeshare. And he said, you know what, if you can do that, stay there for a little while, and if you can do that, you come to me and I'll give you a shot. Every day I would come in, every day he taught life skills, I would come in and ask him for a job. Just so happened on the day that I was not going to be working at the timeshare place, he offered me a job that day. It was as if it was meant to be.
And your personal life story, what the trials and tribulations that we all experience, and to look at where you are now based on where you might have been previously. Tell us a little bit about that story.
I came from very harsh beginnings. I was in and out of institutions from 18 until actually when I came to New Community. I was still actually in transition when I walked into New Community. And from where I started, it's night and day. If you ask me, New Community is like a beacon of hope in a dark place, because
where I would have been from where I am now is night and day. I probably would have, unfortunately, been in another institution. Now I have no doubt in my mind that I will never walk into those doors again. And if I do walk into those doors again, I'll be walking in there to share my hope and experience and just life lessons with the people.
And that testimony, that story, what's the message to those out there that might be going through a struggle or in the process of deciding what's best for them in life? What's the message to that audience member that's listening today?
If you decide in your heart and your mind that you want to change, there's nothing in the world that can stop you. Nothing. And all you need to do is be put into the place with the right resources. New Community was the right resource for me. As long as you get partnered with the right resources, sky's is the limit, because everybody wants you to succeed. Nobody wants to see a person fail.
How hard was it? What were the challenges? Were there those who doubted your success? How did you look beyond those who doubting what you could do and stay focused on what was best for Esperanza?
Success is the best revenge. So every time somebody doubted me or felt as though that I wouldn't make it, I wanted to succeed that much more. And when you have the right people behind you that are pushing you in the right direction, success is the only place that you can go.
Yeah. Well, the work of New Community is really evident, not so much of what we do, but it's really the lives that we're changing. And Esperanza is a live example, but it's done, again, with partnerships, right, with employers who are willing to give our students an opportunity. Esperanza, as we wrap up this segment, what's, again, one message that you can say that connects it all from your time at New Community and from your time now where you are at with Sansone?
Well, I believe that Sansone and New Community are two people that come together to try to help everybody they come in contact with. And I believe that if you want to help and you want to change, they can help you change.
Great. Thank you, Esperanza. Thank you for joining us. And again, as we talk about our automotive training program, it's similar with all of the work that we do from our automotive program. You heard from Rich Liebler in Esperanza and our culinary arts, construction, building trades, and healthcare programs. But it's all about people. It's all about doing what we can as an organization to provide quality training, quality instruction, and employment opportunities on the back end. As a school, we're only as good as those that we help, and we're only as good as those that actually get jobs and are a live testimony like Esperanza and employer partners like we have with Rich Liebler. We welcome anyone who's interested, again, to contact our main office at 973-824-6484. Visit our website at www.newcommunity.org and apply directly online. We are recruiting candidates for our next automotive program that's looking to start this June. And we want quality people. We want serious-minded people like Esperanza and employer partners like Rich who are looking for quality students as well. So please join the program because we're looking for you. Thank you.